It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light, little flock. What is the worst part of being in the darkness? If you were trapped in darkness, what would be the worst part about that? Now, there may be some that would say, well, the worst part about being trapped in darkness is I can't see what anything is. I can't see where I'm going. I can't see anything. But I would say unto you that the worst part of being in darkness is not being able to see who you are. Not being able to recognize yourself or see yourself. And if you can't recognize or see yourself, then you can be told. You can be whispered to. You can be manipulated. And anyone who says otherwise is just lying to you. Because think about what I'm saying. If you don't know what you are, you don't know who you are, you can't see yourself, then how can you tell somebody that they're telling the truth or lying concerning you? So therefore, if you don't know, then you can be manipulated. You can be told something that may sound to you as though it's good to be that thing. And then you become it and you realize, uh-oh, it wasn't true for me. That may be good for somebody else, but it's not true for me. So then what did you find out? That you were deceived into thinking that you were something that you weren't. So now the worst thing about being in the darkness is not being able to recognize one's own self. Before he can even start walking and worrying about falling into a ditch, before he can even start worrying about other people and what they are and who they are, he must know what he is. Then he can start to learn everything else out around him and in relation to him correctly. But he can't do any of that if he doesn't know who he is. So now that we've pinpointed the fact that that's the worst thing about being in darkness, then what is the greatest thing about being in the light? Simple, isn't it, little flockulators? The greatest thing about dwelling in the light is that you actually know who and what you are. That's the truth. That makes you free. Peep what I'm about to tell you. If you were put into a jungle and there were all kind of creatures in that jungle, but yet they were all subject unto you, every last one of them, you had dominion over every last one of them, but you didn't know that you fit that part of the cycle of life. You thought you were way, way, way vulnerable and way weak and prey when you're not. But you believe that. Well, think about your own life and think about what I'm saying to you about the jungle you've been put in, called the world. You were put into it, and since you didn't know who you were and what you were, you felt vulnerable to the other creatures. You felt skeptical concerning the circumstances. When you would see another creature coming toward you, you wouldn't know how to treat it in relationship to yourself because you don't know yourself. You're blind to it. You're blinded. You don't have the eyes to see it. You see that there, little flockulators? And the only way to have eyes to see it is to have your whole body full of light. And the only way to have your body full of light is to let thine eye be single. Let thine eye be single means become the truth of who you actually are and rest on it. Don't no longer be double-minded or going between two opinions of who you are. Why would you if you knew? So like I'm saying, if you're the apex predator in the jungle, aren't you going to walk like you are if you knew that? Aren't you going to be fearless if you knew that? So then consider what Yahusha told you about how you should be. Fearless. Good cheer, rejoicing and glad, even when the other animals bark at you, even when they snap, even when a poisonous asp leaps upon your arm and sinks his fangs into it and injects venom into it. He says, rejoice and be glad. Why? Because you have already overcome it. In other words, you already have dominion over it. He said, you shall tread upon serpents, their venom won't harm you. Nothing that you do will harm you, or no harm will come your way. So then, that means I'm the apex dude walking around here in this world called the shadow of death. It's called the shadow of death because it casts an illusion that it exists. I don't know if you guys can actually hear me when I'm saying that. When you walk around, you know you exist when you look and see your shadow, don't you? All right then. You know you're existing when you see that. Well, death wants to make you believe he exists. Scoot doo, can you understand me? The carnal mind is death. So the carnal mind is always giving you a shadow of a thing that's not even real. It just wants you to believe that it is. So that's where you're living at. You're living in a world where there are shadows being cast about. In other words, illusions to make you think something is real. Nope, it ain't real. It's just a shadow. You ever been sitting in a room and a shadow goes past and you thought it was something there running right next to you? Your adrenaline and shit got kicking all up. You're about to be ready in a Bruce Lee stance and everything, about ready to kick some serious ass. And all it was a shadow went past your damn eyesight. One time when I was a kid, y'all, I'm sitting in the house. I'm all alone. My parents are gone somewhere. Sisters are gone. I'm just me. I'm sitting home alone. Now, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I'm sitting there and I'm playing this game called Resident Evil, which was like one of the most scariest games you could play back then. It's probably, nothing as far as scary games today. But back then, that was a scary game. So I'm sitting there playing that. And I'm hearing the moaning of the zombies and everything and shit popping out. I hadn't played it, so I wasn't expecting all the stuff I was seeing. I said, damn, this shit kind of creepy. I'm sitting here alone. Shit, let me play this shit when somebody else is home with me. So I turned that game off. Well, when I turned the TV on, I turned the game off, I turned the TV on, Night of the Living Dead is on TV. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What's with this zombie shit? Well, as I'm sitting there just laughing, thinking about this movie that's on after I just got done playing Resident Evil, which is about zombies, I'm like, damn, here this movie is on about zombies. It's nighttime. Remember, it's nighttime. As I'm sitting there thinking about that, looking at the TV screen, I hear this sound. That sounds kind of like the game and shit I was playing. What the hell is that shit? What the heck? I'm standing there in the living room. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand. What's that sound? I know I'm home alone. You know how you get to thinking and shit? You get all quiet and shit and pausing, looking around and shit. Like, wait. Okay, what the hell is that sound? Then I hear it again. It's the same sound, and it's just coming repeatedly. Then a little pause. Then I'm like, okay, hold on. So I go toward the front door and shit to kind of see, because that's where I hear the sound coming from, the front door. So as I get to the front door, there's a little small glass window, but it's kind of opaque. You can't really see all the way through it. You can kind of see through it. It's like you're looking through a milk carton, right? So I'm standing by the front door and shit, and I'm listening. Hear it again. And then I can tell it's hitting the door. I'm like, what the shit? Somebody's outside the door dragging on the door. It's a zombie out there. Shit. Okay, what did that nigga do on that game? He got a knife and stabbed that nigga in the brain. All right, so that's what I got to do. I run to the kitchen and shit. I'm not bullshitting y'all. I'm telling y'all the truth. I really thought there was a zombie outside my front door trying to get in. So I said, well, that nigga ain't getting me. I'm about to go get me a knife and take care of him. Shit. Watching the Night of the Living Dead, nigga had a baseball bat. He hitting the niggas in the head and shit. I said, yeah, all I got to do is go for that head. So I go in the kitchen, grab the biggest knife I can grab, biggest butcher knife I can see. I grab it. I go to the front door. I'm collecting my courage and shit because I'm about to step out there and stab this zombie I think is outside. So as I get to the front door, remember the glass, you can't see through it, but you can kind of see through it. So as I get to the front door, through the glass, I see a shadow moving back and forth. Oh, shit. What the hell? It's really something there. I'm like, it's really something out there. I can see it moving across the damn window. And then I hear the broom, boom, boom. What the shit? All right, I'm timing this shit. As soon as I hear the broom, I'm opening that door and I'm swinging. So then I hear the broom, I open the door and I get to swinging that blade. I didn't even think about it. I just started swinging. And when I started swinging, all of a sudden, a big splash of water comes splashing across my chest and face. And then I looked around and realized that the sprinklers were on. You feel me, little flock? This is a real true story. I realized that the sprinklers were on, and every time the sprinkler would go by the door, it would hit the door. And then it would go. Y'all know how I do. And as it goes back, it hits the door. And then as it goes back, it hits the door. That's what the sound was hitting the door, guys. It was the sprinklers in the front yard. My own damn house. See how your mind can get to playing tricks on you because of what you thought you saw? So my mind had actually thought it was a zombie out there. Because I'm watching this, then the zombie movie, and then now the zombie sounds. The Abba was preparing me for a zombie. Get the knife. Y'all hear me, little flock? That was my mindset. Till that water splashed all up on my face and everything. Then I just realized what was happening. And then I was like, well, what was the shadow? And I look and I see the tree blowing in the wind. So the shadow was just the tree blowing in the wind in front of the door, making that shadow cast across there. So a tree and a sprinkler I thought was a zombie. My mind had actually conceived that that's what it was. So then as I go back in the house and put this knife back in and sit back down and start watching something else on TV, my mom and dad come home. My mom's like, how was it and everything? I couldn't help. I had to tell. I said, do you know what I did? And I tell my mama this whole story and everything. And my mom and dad are cracking up laughing about the shit. And then my mom stopped. She said, now what if that was one of us trying to get in the house? She was like, we would have been cut to ribbons. I'm like, yeah, unfortunately you would have been because I didn't even look. I just swang. Y'all hear me today, little flock? But that's the point, that you're living in the valley of the shadow of death. Casting these things to make you feel a thing. That's the whole point. Because if you feel it, it's real. You really believe it once you feel it. See what I'm trying to tell you, little flockulators? But right thought cancels out those false feelings. The right thought says it's just a tree. So now if you consider what I'm telling you, there are things that have happened to you in your life that have been like that sprinkler and that tree to you. And then you have to have someone to come in, or the light to come in and say, it's just a tree moving in the breeze, and it's just a sprinkler spraying on the door. You see? So there's no need in panicking or no need in being afraid. And that's why you see Yahusha say those exact things. I know how it looks. Imagine how the Israelites felt when they were at the Red Sea and then the Egyptians started coming down that hill behind them. What would you have thought? Well, I'll tell you what they thought. They said, uh-oh, you brought us out here in the wilderness to die. See, that's how quick they believed the shadow that was cast. Because don't you think all of those men coming down cast a great shadow? Yeah, it did. But what happened to all those men with all those shadows? They got washed to the depths of the sea. And you didn't see no shadow no more. So then it wasn't actually anything to fear, was it? No. And that's what this lesson that I'm about to teach to you guys today, that I am teaching to you, is all about. Not being afraid, not being scared, not being leery, because you don't be no more when the light come on, like it did for me when the light came on and said, hey, did you see that that's just a tree blowing in the wind? Yes, I do. Look at the adrenaline going down. See the fight or flight hormone. Look at it decreasing. Now, I want you guys to stop for a moment and let's take a left turn here at Albuquerque. Did I just say your adrenaline starts to decrease once you see the truth? So then, have you ever felt adrenaline before? Why did you feel it? Well, it's called fight or flight hormone. So then usually when it's time to fight or to take flight, what do you feel? Anger. If it's time to fight, wrath. Yep. And what do you feel when you take flight? Fear, doubt. So malice and bitterness, which is what causes you to fight, is used by that hormone. The same hormone that causes you to run away. Can y'all hear that there, little flockulators? The same hormone that causes you to run away. Fear, doubt, bitterness, anger, malice, and all that shit, where'd that come from? That comes from the carnal mind. You see how he wants to produce those feelings in you? You only can produce it if you're in the carnal mind. And you're in the carnal mind if you're in darkness, because it's called the shadow of death. Death is the carnal mind. The shadow is what it produces that causes you to feel fear as you walk through it. But we are told that we are led by the good shepherd, that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, which is this world of illusion, that there is no need to fear any damn kind of evil that there is presented before me. And you know why? Because I am here. That's why. Can y'all understand the language that I'm speaking to you today? Because I am here. That's why I don't need to fear any evil that's thrown my way. Evil is things to make me feel bitter, anger, malice, wrath, anger, fear, doubt. Them things I just described to you. Because if I can feel those things, then I'm going to do something stupid. Can't you hear me? If I do any of the things I just described, bitterness, malice, fear, doubt, then I'm going to do something dumb, because anything done with doubt is sin. Anything done with doubt is a fruit of the result of the carnal mind's thinking. The carnal mind is who laid with my wife to produce this result. And it's just a shadow, which means it's just something that's going to pass away. This is why Ishmael had to leave from Abraham's house, but Isaac stayed. I hope you guys can understand why. Because anything done with doubt is sin. But if it's done through faith, then it will win. So then Isaac won because he is the son of faith, or the son of promise. And when you're promised something, then it requires faith for you to believe that the giver of the promise will perform the promise. Don't you see it, little flockulators? So it is impossible to please him if you don't have faith, and that's why that's written. And it's also written that when he comes, shall he find faith when he's looking for it? Because most people are looking with their eyes. Well, if your eyes are open in the dark, can you see? No. But if the light is inside of you, then where do you need to go to see it? You need to go inside. So close your eyes. Make thine eyes single, and then your whole body will be full of light. And then as you walk, guess what will happen? Every step I take, it ignites when I'm in the night. Do you hear that right there? Every step I take, it ignites when I'm in the night. That's why I'm already looking bright. You see? You ain't realized our eyes, there was like a light. That's why I'm already looking bright. Every step I take, it ignites when I'm in the night. Can you hear them words? Can you hear them? Because they're coming forth from my heart. Where else could they come from? And what am I talking about when I'm saying that? Do you know what I'm talking about? And am I talking about something of value, or am I not? It may sound like I'm not because of the cadence, because of the flow, because of the rap way that it sounds. It may not be valuable because it sounds like it's rapping. Well, then you don't have wisdom, do you? Because all of God's children and all of God's elect anointed ones sing a song. They sing and they make music. You didn't read about David, the great psalmist? How come he wrote so many songs? Did you read about Solomon? How come he wrote songs? What's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with you guys? A joyous, happy heart sing. That's what it do. And since I'm from the tribe of people that have a joyful, happy heart that sing praises to I am, then that's exactly what I shall do. Do you see how I know the truth of who I am? And because I know that, then nothing can stop me. And don't I act like that? This is all because of what he said would happen in Revelation. What you see coming out of me today is the proof of what he said would happen if you overcome. I'm going to prove it to y'all today, like I always do, in case you're standing there perplexed. Because like I said, if you're looking for the light, how should you look for it? Maybe you should look for it like Yahusha told you to look. But no, people are going to look for it the way man tells them to look. But men live in darkness, so they don't know how to look for any damn thing. That's why it says the light come, but the darkness cannot comprehend it. They are looking with their eyes open. Now, what did Yahusha say about looking with your eyes open? When they say look here or look there, don't listen, because they're blind as hell in the darkness and can't actually see. But if you were to ask a man, well, where is Christ and where is the kingdom? And he was a true man of Abba, he would tell you, look within. Then you shall find everything that you're looking for, my buddy. You shall be set free from every snare of the devil if you look within yourself. But you have been taught to never trust yourself. You have been taught to never look within yourself, not realizing that that was a ploy of the devil, who knew that if you looked within, then you were looking at the one named I am. But he wants to keep you from the one named I am. So he causes you to look at everything outside of yourself in that valley that's terrifying you, that's causing you to become angry and bitter. He wants you to look at that rather than look at your salvation. But what did Yahusha tell us to do? Well, ask Peter when he was on that water. Can I come out there to you, Lord? Sure, come on out. And then he did. But when he started to pay attention to that worker of the shadow, didn't he? Well, let's see. The wind started to blow and the waves started to kick up. And Peter noticed that. I just want you guys to hear the wisdom. Do you? Do you or do you not hear it? Because it's right there gleaming. And you may not think it's a diamond. Then pass it on by. I'll put it back in my pocket then. Because I know what that just told you guys. Do you know what it just told you? It means you can walk on that water as long as your eyes are focused on the truth. But once you look around and start to forget the truth that you are the one in dominion and that there's something that has dominion over you, like some wind and some waves, then you will start to sink. You will start to doubt. You will start to lose faith. Because if you knew the mysteries, then you know that Peter is faith. And that's why Christ said, who do men say that I am? Well, some say this and some say that. It's hard to see when you're in the dark. So some say that. Some say you're this prophet. Some say you're John the Baptist. Some say you're Elias. Some say you're Jeremiah. He said, but who do you say that I am? He says, you're the Son of the living God, the begotten of the Father. And Yahushua said, on this rock, I shall build my church. The reason why he said that is because in order for Peter to make that confession, he had to have believed it by faith. And that's why Yahushua said it. Flesh and blood did not reveal this to you. Can you stop for a second, flock, and drink of that water that flowed down out of that rock right there? Or am I going to drink it all myself? Because I will. Do you want some of it? Did you hear him? Did you hear him? Flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father in heaven did. And on this rock, I shall build my church. What? Faith. That's why he's looking for it, so that he could build. What, guys? Build my church, he said. Who is the church? It's your body. The temple is your body. The temple of the Lord is your body. It's where he wants to come inside of. He wants to build his church, but he's looking for a body of a faithful individual, like Noah was. That's why he kept saying it. It takes faith to see me. When I rise in your heart and not in your fleshly eyes can see, flesh and blood doesn't reveal the Son. The Father reveals the Son to you. I told you, it's a son-father, never-ending cycle. Father, son, father, son, father, son, father, son, father, son, father, son. And it's over and over and over and over again in the Word if you're able to actually sit there and read and look. The grandson is the father. Oh, my goodness. Grandson, you're saying some crazy stuff, man, because you're trying to say something about you. No, God is trying to say, but you're not willing to hear God. He said that. So that's why you act like that when I say it, because he told me that when I say it, you'd act like that because you don't hear him say it. Not because you don't hear me. It's because you don't hear him. That's why you're revolted when I say powerful things about your existence. When I say things that lift you out of fear. When I say things that lift you out of doubt. You're too fearful and you're too unbelieving. So you cannot enter. And the scriptures say that, doesn't it? See how you can see the fearful and unbelieving now? You can actually recognize what that means to be fearful and unbelieving when you didn't see it before. Well, that means you're talking to somebody that has the light that shines forth. That's what it means. Now back to the grandson being the father. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit here until I make your enemies your footstool. Who's going to make the enemies the footstool? He said he would, the Father. So when you read about him returning to do this, you see, he's telling you that the Son will be sitting on his right hand when this is being done, when the smashing of his enemies is being done. And then he tells you that there shall shoot forth a rod out of a root. He is a branch from the root. So did I lie when I said that the grandson is the Father? Because there's only the Father and the Son, and that's the way it works, guys. The Son reveals the Father reveals the Son. The Father reveals the Son through the grandson, because he's a branch from the root. Told you guys that, can I tell it again? Because they're looking at me like I'm on an island like Gilligan. But that makes sense, because John, he was on Patmos. And so that's why you don't understand these words the most that I say. Being on an island of Patmos means you're separated from the consciousness of all other men. You're separated, and that's why you saw the revelation. Because you were separated on an island. It doesn't mean a physical island. It means in the way that you think and that you feel. You're sealed off from the rest of the world when you receive this revelation. That's what John is telling to you. The world cannot receive it. That's what the Bible says. So then if you're of the world, you can't receive it. So you must be not of the world. So and not of the world is a way of saying not of the world, is saying you're on an island. Like Gilligan, and that's why they can't understand the words you say to them. You see? That's why. That's why. Because there's two worlds that I've so often explained to you guys. And when you haven't heard that and don't know it, it's strange when you first hear it. You say there's more than one world God is talking about here? Then you go to Hebrews, and then the light shines right there and says, look at the page. And then you go, by whom he made the worlds. With an S. He made worlds. Esau, I have hated. Jacob, I have loved. Connected to this scripture, he's going to shine the light over here. Look what this scripture says. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is it that followeth. So followeth doesn't mean it's connected to the first. It's not part of the first. It's a whole different one that follows the first. Esau means flesh. It means red. It means hairy. It means rough, like a satyr, like an he-goat. And that's why his Mount Seir is called Mount Seir, because the word Seir means a he-goat, a deceiver, and a devil. That's what an Edomite is. He is a shaggy he-goat who is a deceiver. What does that mean? It means a man who is focused on the 3D carnal world, full of the carnal mind's thoughts, so that he can deceive to get, gain, and acquire for himself, because those are the marks that he bears, which are called the mark of who? Cain. But then there's a set apart group who are called those who are sealed. And those who are sealed with what? The Father's name in their forehead. See that there, little flock? Olaters. It's not even hard to understand. It's just that when you're faithless and unbelieving, it's hard. Everything you hear that's new, you get scared because it doesn't go with the teaching you've been taught by the old world, which is just a damn lie and deception. Now watch what I'm about to say before I read these few scriptures that I got for you guys. If you're living in a world and you don't know what you are, like I told you, you're in that jungle and you don't know you're the apex, but yet you think you're extremely vulnerable to everything around you. How will you act? Now, does the Bible say he give you a spirit to act like that? Or does he say he give you the spirit of power and might? So then who's the apex? What kind of spirit does the apex have? He has a spirit of power and might. Do you see how it connects like Legos? So are you walking through the earth as one who has the spirit of power and might? No. Or yes. It's up to you to be honest with yourself and say, well, you can only walk in the spirit of power and might if you know who you are. Not think you know, not guess. You've seen exactly who you are. Like the scripture says, when you're looking in that mirror and at first you can't see because there's a shadowy cloud over it called darkly. Looking in that mirror, you can't make out what you see. So you forget. You don't see everything in its proper order. You don't see all the defects, all the fear, all the malice, all the hatred that's in there because you're not looking at it right. You're looking at outward appearance when you look at the mirror. So you see it darkly. But that which is perfect will come, then you will see yourself perfectly as you are. So then you will see all the defects, which are things internally. They're not externally. The defects are internal. That's where the light needs to come on. That's where the world is not seeing. Am I lying or is it the truth? They're not looking in there with the light on. They're focused on the outside with the light shining on it, the spotlight on it. We could care less what it looked like. We're looking inside the heart to tell us what you are. That's why you disguise it so much. That's why you plagiarize. That's why you lie. That's why you scheme and deceive. It is to cover up the intents of your heart. But that is how we judge. So then there's no need in trying to cover it up. The fact that you're trying to cover it up makes me automatically get to slicing and dicing because I don't trust people that cover their heart's intent. I slice and dice to show it. I don't want you to show it anymore. I gave you that chance. I'm going to slice you with this sword and make it bare. And there ain't nothing you can do to stop me from slicing. I'm an apex, nigga. What are you? What are you? And if you say you're an alpha, then prove it to me. Bite me on my neck and see if I lay on the ground. See. Come barking and snapping at my face and see if I don't make your tail go between your legs and make your ass turn into a little cur puppy right before me. I don't play about God's word. And it says, I have the spirit of power and might. So run up and test and see. And all your heroes, all of you who deny me, but yet believe the power of the world, then run to them and see if they can stop me when I come trampling through. See, I'm going to tread them like a nigga do grapes in the wine press until my garments are drenched and draped in the shit, until I smell like iron walking down the street. And it ain't because of the iron that I got in my hand. But y'all don't understand spiritual things, so you don't know what I'm actually talking about. Niggas be like, that sounds pretty evil to me, what he's saying. That's because the world calls evil good and good evil. You living in a house, a bunch of niggas come breaking through, robbing your house, raping your family, your children, your woman, pillaging and plundering. And you're not, and when God sends somebody in there to destroy these enemies out of your house, you're going to actually say that that man's wrong for doing that? Would you all? Then that means that you don't know who the hell broke into your house, do you? You're not able to recognize the threat that is among you. Raping your woman every day, killing your children every single damn day, eating up all of your goods and stealing all of your riches every single damn day. Then do you? You can't see it. You think it's good that these niggas are doing this in your house. But that shows how deceived and how in the valley that you are. Under that shadow that has you terrified and so afraid that you can't do anything, you can't think anything, you can't feel anything other than what that illusion has showed you. That's why you're sinking. So then watch this. If you're on the water and the wind starts to blow, what is that? What's the truth, flockulators? If you're walking on water and the wind starts blowing, what's the truth about why that wind is blowing? It is a ploy of the enemy, the prince of the air, who seeks to cause you to sink. He's offering you an alternative to actually being on the water walking, which you're doing. He's offering you an alternative through fear. And instead of listening to love, who told you, go ahead on and walk with power and might, instead of listening to that voice, you listened to the illusionist and you sank. So when the wind starts to blow, and the waves start to roar, what should you do? Since you know this truth now, be peace and calm. Why would you? Because that's what I saw Yahusha do. That's right. See how that's the light in what looks like a dark, gloomy situation? And see how that light that was on that water had nothing to do with something outside of the temple? It was inside of it the whole time? All right, then. All right, then. Let's get some scripts and read some scripts real quick, y'all. Let's go to John chapter 8, verse 12. John chapter 8, verse 12. And it says, again, Yahusha spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Will have the light of life. What is the light of life? The spiritual mind. The spiritual mind is life and peace. See? But the carnal mind is death. See? So then if you follow Yahusha, you will be actually following the light, which is the spiritual mind, which is the truth of you. You're in a carnal world, but you're not a carnal being. You are a spirit. So then a spirit must worship him in spirit and in truth. See how it goes together? Not just spirit, but truth come with spirit, because the truth is the spirit. That's the peaceful life that you'll have if you're walking with dominion and power. And every time somebody makes a wind blow up or a wave crash up on your feet, you just simply laugh and keep on stepping on that water. Nigga, you're not going to make me sink. I recognize you. You're an illusionist. An illusionist means somebody who's powerless, who makes themselves look powerful. I want y'all to understand that if you can. An illusionist is someone who's powerless that makes themselves appear powerful. Now let's see what Yahusha said and compare it. You indeed appear righteous unto men. There you have it, little flock. So then I can just translate. You indeed appear powerful to men by the things that you do, but inwardly you're dead. Is that a sarcophagus, or what you would call a sepulcher? What goes inside of a sepulcher? A dead ass nigga does. So then see, you're dead inside. There's no light on the inside of you. All the light you have is outside of you, shining on you. Look at my clothing. Look at my talking. Look at my skin. Look at my health. Look at my beard. Look at my hair. Look at my height. Look at my bank account. Look at everything that I didn't have when I came here, but everything that I have acquired since I've been here. Look at all that stuff. Aren't I the best thing ever since sliced bread? Well, I'm more concerned with what you are, not what all those trinkets are you're showing me. Why the fuck do I care about a trinket when I'm judging you? Look at the stupidity you got to deal with in this world, little flock. When you were wise, you're stepping above these little peons like they're peasants, groveling on the street like for a fucking rat's tail. Shit, they can't even afford to get a rat. They got to get a rat tail. And you won't toss them a damn thing because you don't cast these things into dogs. It's too valuable. We're too high. We're too pious. We're too above. Shit. You hear me? When you realize stupidity in the thinking that these people have, the foolishness of how they think, and they get mad when you talk like that. Well, why are you so angry? You don't know what angry is. You're in darkness. You're calling good evil and evil good. You can't know what it is until you step into the light. So how can you critique? How can you judge? Like the Father said and like his Son said. How can you judge when you can't even judge the smallest matters between yourselves? You judge a man good because he got nice clothes. A man come in with a gold ring and you judge him valuable and put him next to you as a friend. That's what Yahusha said, not me. He said y'all do that. And then he said you don't have a cloak anymore for it. See? So now, continuing. Who follows me, he won't walk in darkness. You see that? Let's go to the book of Acts 26 and let's get some wisdom up out of here real quick. It'll be very interesting for you guys, I hope. Acts 26, start at verse 1. Then Agrippa said unto Paul, Thou art permitted to speak for thyself. Then Paul stretched forth the hand and answered for himself. Watch what he's going to say, guys. I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before thee, touching all the things whereof I am accused of the Jews. So he's being accused. So he's been given the liberty to speak for himself, and he's happy to do so, he said. But he's being accused, guys. So that's the waves. See how we connect this tapestry with this thread and this needle we got? That's the calamity, the stress of those waves and those wind, and that wind blowing against you to try to get you to sink. So let's see. Especially because I know thee to be an expert in all customs and questions which are among the Jews. Wherefore I beseech thee to hear me patiently. Y'all hear that? Because I know you know about the Jews' customs. So just listen to me and hear what I have to say. Watch this. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among mine own nation, at Jerusalem. So when I was young, my manner of life was the same way of all those who dwelt in Jerusalem at that time. Know all the Jews, see, all the Jews know this, that I, Paul, was living in Jerusalem as a youth, which knew me from the beginning. See, the Jews knew me from the start. They know who I am. He got a reputation then, in other words, you see. If they would testify that after the most straightest sect of our religion, I lived a Pharisee, the most straightest sect of the Pharisees. So there are Pharisees. And remember when he said, I was a Pharisee of the Pharisees. Do you see why he's saying that? Because he's saying I was of the straightest sect. That means what, guys? Let you guys break it down. Y'all got wisdom. The most strict. You see it? The most strict group of all Pharisees. That's the group I was a part of. So not only was I a Pharisee, I was one of the most strict Pharisees you would ever see. Y'all see how Paul is telling y'all that? Watch. Keep listening. And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of El unto our fathers, unto which promise our 12 tribes, instantly serving El day and night, hope to come. For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. Why should it be thought a thing incredible with you that El should raise the dead? I verily thought with myself that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Yahushua of Nazareth. See? So back when I was a young and a Pharisee of the Pharisees, you see, I thought with myself, this was my own thoughts, see, that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Yahushua. I did a whole lot of stuff contrary to him, thinking I was doing something to please God. See? Which thing I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints did I shut up in prison. See, I went about persecuting, throwing people in prison, having received authority from the who? The chief priest. Stop. So who were going about throwing in prison the followers of Yahushua, the true followers? Paul was, and he got his authority to do so by who? The Levitical priesthood. Understand that today then. You true followers of Yahushua will be persecuted by those who adhere strictly to the Levitical priesthood. And if you want to know who the Levitical priesthood are, just look around at the people who are in the world screaming for you to keep the commandments of God, and they're giving you rudiments and works of the law to keep. That's them, because that's them back then, the chief priests. That's what they did back then. So then there's nothing new under the sun. So they're doing the same thing. They're persecuting the church, not knowing. They actually think they're serving God by telling people, keep these commandments, do this, do this, do this, do this. But they deny Yahushua. They're fighting against what Yahushua said to do. They won't even talk about love. And when they do talk about love, they talk about it with the same hate, the same malice, and the same bitterness as they always do. They give you a feigned love, a love of works, being loved by working. But this is a mystery that I'm going to expose to the whole wide world, which smashes everybody's pride down if they're listening. Watch this here. The Father's name is I am that I am. Correct? Can anybody deny this? Even you over righteous, even you strict, even you over wicked. Isn't that what it say? I am that I am. Now, my question to all of you today is, you are what because you are? Now the Father, which is according to Levitical law, don't take the Lord's name in vain. This is what they'll tell you. Well, the Lord's name is I am that I am. So what are you? Because you are. Not because you did anything. See how they can't hear me? Because they're all about works. They're all about doing work to please God. Read your Bible. It'll tell you that. They sought it by the work of their hands, but the works of their hands are as filthy rags. So it's not worth a damn thing. It's not. The truth is from your heart. And that's why it says the true Jew is one of the heart. The Levitical priesthood are considered Jews. That's what they're called, Jews. See? Don't you see it? But guess what they do? When you're on the water and the wind and waves kick up, I'm going to ask you the same question. You are what? Because you are. Tell me. The wind and waves are kicking in your life. Now I'm asking you, what are you? Because you're telling me. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I don't know if they can hear me. How in depth between heart to heart this message is between you and I today. Where I'm really speaking to within you. When you're going through a circumstance, you're going to say words that explain this circumstance to where it makes sense to your mind. But it's not true if you don't have the light. So that means when you're going through something tumultuous, let's say it's bills, let's say you're going to get kicked out or evicted, something kind of shit that's got you worried and stressing. Well, now you are that because you exist. That's what you're telling God. I am sick. I am. In other words, I am sick because I exist. That's taking God's name in vain. I am scared because I exist. That's what you're saying with the breath. That's what you're saying to God. I'm scared I exist. That's I exist is this. But how are you taking the breath? How are you taking his name? In peace and calm? Some people get all offended just because I even did that, even though I just moved my hand like that. But do you understand what I'm telling you? It's how you take the breath determines what you are that you are. Like I said, I don't know if you can hear me. So when you're joyful and when you're at peace or when you're of good cheer, which are the things he told you to feel, then guess what you're saying to God? I am joyful that I am. Oh my God. Can you hear what the grandson is telling to the little flock of these last days? Can you see God's grace handed out to you? Where the things that were so hard to understand, the grandson makes them so easy to be understood. And if you don't think that's God's grace, then you don't know our Father. He's making it so plain for every man to see it and every man to repent and amend his ways now and come back to the truth of his circumstance and praising the Father's name. I am blessed because I am. That's what that means. That means because, guys. Can you hear it? That means because. So I am happy because I am. I'm happy I exist. That's what you're telling God. That's why I said, be of good cheer and rejoice. And again, I say rejoice. But how the hell are you rejoicing if you're saying, I'm sad I exist. That's why I have to pay all these bills. I'm sad I exist. Because that's what you're saying. By your breath. I'm stressed I exist. I'm depressed that I exist. That's why people are caught in all kinds of problems, but yet nobody can save them from the problem because they don't know that's the key that saves them. Is stop taking the Father's name in vain. Stop doing that. Take it in truth. Well, how can I take it in truth if I don't know the truth of my circumstance? I'm telling you the truth of it today. You can decide what you will do, walk or sink. Now, you will decide that based off of two choices, Yahushua's words or the deceiver's illusion. So now, when you're facing a circumstance, are you listening to the Yahushua's words or are you listening to the illusions? To the illusionist and the illusion that's offered. Which one are you listening to? Well, you're going to be proving which one you're listening to by how you feel and how you breathe. Oh, we shall all die on this boat. Yahushua's not breathing like that. So he said, follow me. I'm following you. I look at you breathing. That's how I'm going to breathe. Now, the people that are afraid Do they breathe like that? No, they don't. People that are calm and safe breathe like that. So then that's what you should do if you're calm and safe. But you're saying you're not calm and safe, but you're saying it with your mouth. So they honor me with their lip, but their heart far from me, which means you're saying I'm safe, but your heart doesn't believe you are. Your wife doesn't believe you. So your house is divided. Your eye is not single. So there's no light in your house. So you cannot see the truth concerning the circumstance. But watch what I'm about to tell you. When they locked me up and told me that I was not getting out of jail for 90 days, I didn't go outside of myself for any damn thing. I went inside of myself. I closed my eyes. I simply turned the light on. And then I got my Christ on. And now I'm in the ring like Mike Tyson. Got the Holy Spirit going around me like a python. Looking in the mirror, I see a titan. The hell you niggas talking about? Can't you hear what the grandson been telling y'all? I went up in the closet, turned my light on. Did you hear me? I went in my closet and turned the light on. Not I went out in the world to see what was going on. That's not what I said. I went up in my closet, turned my light on. Shit. Hear that there? Shit, had to get my Christ on. Now I'm in the ring looking like Mike Tyson. Shit, he said he'll never leave me when the fight's on. Got the Holy Spirit wrapped around me like a python. I'm looking in the mirror, see a titan. Fears there was tears on my face getting dried off. Shit, you hear me? Them tears, there was fears on my face getting dried off. Can y'all hear what the grandson be talking about here today? Turn your Christ on. Turn that light on. And then you're going to get busy on these niggas like your name Mike Tyson. So what am I actually saying? Well, let me interpret the verses that I had wrote on a song called Christ On. It's on my page if you guys want to check it out and hear what I'm saying on that song. But let me interpret the meaning of it. What I'm saying is I was walking around and couldn't do a damn thing. But when I went inside myself and turned the light on in there, then I could see exactly who I was. And I know that my skill level, my perpetuousness, my impregnable defense and ferociousness was on par with Mike Tyson in his prime compared to everybody else who was full of fear and doubt when they stepped into the ring against Mike Tyson, because he knew that I am a conqueror, I am great, I am beautiful, I am strong. You see what I'm trying to tell you today? Can you hear it or can you not hear it? Then I became a conqueror. See? So that's what I'm telling you all about today. Now, continuing with what Paul said. Watch this, guys. Let's see what he's getting to by saying all this about his past and what he was and what he did. Watch this. He put him in prison, verse 10, having received, Acts 26, verse 10, having received authority from the chief priests. And when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. See? Yeah, they deserve that shit, breaking God's commandments. They deserve to be put to death. Not listening to what our God told us to do. Shit. That was his attitude. So then that means that there are a bunch of wicked ass people right now who love to kill in the name of keeping God's commandment, which is to love. Now, how the fuck are you serving my God, but all you think about doing is killing? Well, let's see what they did in Yahushua's day, because that's all I'm going to do to know what you niggas are doing. So when I look in there, I see Yahushua standing there next to a woman who had committed adultery. Now, according to the Levitical law that we were all talking about, you are not supposed to do that, because if you do, you should be put to death. So those Pharisees who are Levitical, over-righteous priesthood came and got that woman and went right to Yahushua and said, what do you say we should do? Because the law say we should stone her. And Yahushua said, well, if you don't have any sin, then cast the first stone. And they couldn't do that shit because they all had sin worthy of death. And so it is with the world that you live in. So once you know that, then you ain't scared of nobody picking up no damn stone. You laugh at his wicked, dirty ass because you can see his filth. Even though he's not willing to see it, you can because you have the light on. You have the light on inside of you, which allows you to see everything inside of another. That's what it do. That's how Yahushua was able to perceive their thoughts and read their minds. Can't you understand that? All right, then. We're all taking the breath of the same oxygen, but yet we're acting like we're all living by a different source. Okay, well, let's turn the oxygen off and see how many people continue to breathe. So then everybody is subject to the same source of oxygen in order to live. That's right. So then why are some taking it in vain and some taking it in truth? Well, what we're reading today here. Continuing. I punished them often in every synagogue and compelled them to blaspheme. Did you hear what he said? He said, I punished them often in every synagogue. I punished the true followers of Christ everywhere that I went when I was inside of the church. And I compelled them to blaspheme. I was teaching them to blaspheme the name of God and not even knew that I was. See what I mean about these people today who are thinking they're doing God's work? They're blaspheming the name of God every day, and they teach their own flock to blaspheme the name of God. They don't teach in the name of I am, because if they did, their flock would be free. I am takes the power off of the man who you're listening to and puts it inside of your chest. That's where Yahushua wanted it all along. But these pilfering ass fake shepherds, what do they want? They want it all vainglory for them. They're not thinking about your chest. They're too busy thinking about what's on the outside of theirs. Continuing. And being exceedingly mad against them. Look at this. I persecuted them, even unto strange cities. I'm chasing them all over, trying to kill them all. Whereupon, as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priest, there he says again, the chief priest sent me out to go do all this killing and every damn thing and persecuting. At midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven. Stop there, little flocklators. So this whole time he's doing this persecuting, he's blind. He can't see anything. He just think he can. That's why Revelation says, he who has eyes to see and ears to hear, let him hear it. Because if you ain't got that, then you can't hear it. And those things that you need to have got are a gift from God. So then you can't get it by trying to get it. You can't get it by trying to earn it. You can't get it by any of that. You get it by grace. Now continuing, watch this. So a light from heaven came above the brightness of the sun, brighter than the damn sun. Now, when you look up at the sun, you got to cover your shit like this because you just can't even look at it because it's brighter than every damn thing. See it there, little flock? Watch this. Shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speak unto me and sang in the Hebrew tongue. So whoever the speaker was speaking Hebrew. We know who the speaker is anyway, though, but he want to make sure that you know he Hebrew. See that there? Because you know liars going to come and try to change that like Romans. You see that there? And sang in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul. That means to inquire or to ask. Saul does. Why persecutest thou me? And it is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. So you're persecuting me. See that? So all those people being chased, beaten, killed, thrown in prison, they were all Christ, according to what Christ just said here. See why people get it all up in arms when you tell them what Christ truly really is? Continuing. And I said, who art thou, Lord? And he said, I'm Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I have appeared unto thee for this purpose. Watch. For what purpose? I have appeared unto thee. For what purpose? Let's see. To make thee a minister and a witness, both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in which I will appear unto thee. So now I'm going to make you a minister and a witness of me, of my own. The same guy that was persecuting more stricter than everybody was. He converted him. You see that? Now watch this. Delivering thee from the people. So I'm going to save you from the people and from the Gentiles, which are the Jews, and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee. See that? So who sent him? Yahushua did. Like I'm telling you guys about me. That's why I teach the same thing. See it? Continuing. To open their eyes. Who? The people he said I send you to. I send you there to do what? Open their eyes. And to turn them from what? Darkness to light. And from the power of Satan unto love. Stop. Did you hear what I said today? Sheesh. Have you heard the clarity of it all? Paul is telling you what happened to him. I was going astray thinking I was doing it right. That's what I'm telling each and every last one of you. You thought what you was doing was right. You thought you had it all together. You don't until you're saved by grace, just like Paul was. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He thought he was doing the right thing. Causing people to blaspheme God is doing the right thing. He didn't know it. Because you didn't know the Father. Because only the Son can. The one he's persecuting against is the one who can actually reveal the Father to you. So many are doing that today. So many reject Christ just to run back to the prophets and just to run back to Moses and tell you what they had to say. As if what they had to say isn't all summed up in what Yahushua told us. As if what they had to say didn't testify of Yahushua coming and speaking the words that he spake to us. So then we should hear ye him. But how many people actually want to do that? Well, his bride will. Isn't that obvious, little flock? The one who love him and the one he love will. Like I've told you all. See? He will hang on to the end. He won't let go. Because he's the grandson. And God told you through a mystery that the grandson does not let go until he's blessed. So I'm that grandson that don't let go until I'm blessed. I will hang on to his promise. I don't care how long it take. I don't care what it look like. My shit coming. So it's just a matter of time. And all you wicked ass devils, enjoy your short time that you have, because you're cast out of the place where I now reside, which is in right thought. You are now cast out into wrong thought of fear, everlasting torment, weeping of tears coming down your eyes and gnashing of your damn teeth. And you know why? Because you hate what I stand for, which is fairness, justice, and equity, liberty for the captive. As we just read, the religious leaders don't care nothing about your liberty. They don't care. They care more about putting you in prison. They care more about causing you to blaspheme the name of God. You hear it? Proved it to you. Continuing. Watch this. So he has sent to open their eyes, turn them from darkness to light, from the power of Satan, which is the illusionist. See his power he had over you. I'm turning you away. I'm showing you it ain't shit but a ventriloquist. What the hell are you scared of that puppet for? Because he looks creepy? It's just a normal looking nigga holding some strings, making that damn dummy dance. I know he looks creepy stepping over on those strings and shit with his mouth going, nah, 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 looking like a creeped out Pinocchio and shit. But he ain't no real boy. I don't give a damn how much Geppetto pray. That nigga gonna be wood forever. He's not real. He's just an idol. Satan, that is. So he ain't got no power in his illusion. I don't care how much he makes him sing and dance. Still just a damn illusion. See? See, he gave power to the beast that he should speak and everything. See the ventriloquist with the strings? See? He went, and you thought the dummy was talking. Oh my God, look at the dummy. He's alive. He's a real boy. No, he ain't. So watch this. That they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by what? Faith that is in me. See? Whereupon, O King Agrippa, I was not disobedient unto the heavenly vision. So he said, I wasn't disobedient to that vision that I had, but showed first unto them in Damascus and at Jerusalem and throughout all the coast of Judea, and then on the Gentiles, that they should repent and turn to love and do works meet for repentance. For these causes the Jews caught me in the temple and went about to kill me. See? Having therefore obtained help of God, I continue unto this day, witnessing both to the small and great, saying none other things than those things which the prophets and Moses did say should come. Stop! Didn't I tell y'all that there, little flock later? Moses and the prophets, the same guys are holding up and hoisting up his truth. Moses said we should do this. What do you say? See? Read the Bible. That's what they were saying to Yahushua. Moses said this. What do you say? And he kept crashing them down. So that proves Melchizedek is greater. I'm of the Melchizedek order. So I will crush down anybody who's not of that order. That's what I told you guys. You must be Zionim to even be effective at doing anything against me. Because iron only sharpens iron. You don't have iron. You have wood. You have a sword made out of wood. I have one made out of something that doesn't break, bend, or shift, or rust. So try and swing your shit. Watch me cut that and you at the same time. I don't care what you're swinging. You're irritating me by trying to swing at me. Get it over with so I can cut down. You see how easy that is to understand? It's not hard. It's not hard at all. It's called zeal. And when you have zeal for the Father, that's how you will be. Just like a woman will have zeal for her husband. She doesn't want anybody else defiling what's her husband's. If she love him, if she respect him and reverence him. See how that's going? So now, watch this. He said that Christ should suffer and that he should be the first that should rise from the dead and should show great light unto the people and to the Gentiles. And as he thus spake for himself, Festus said with a loud voice, Paul, thou art beside thyself. Much learning doth make thee mad. So what did he say about Paul? He said, man, you tripping, bro. You ain't saying nothing that make no sense. Y'all hear him? He said, you beside yourself. You're mad. It means you're crazy, see? But he said, I am not mad. I ain't crazy, most noble Festus, but speak forth the words of truth and soberness, see? For the king knoweth of these things, before whom also I speak freely. For I am persuaded that none of these things are hidden from him. For this thing was not done in a corner. King Agrippa, believest thou the prophets? I know that thou believest. See what Paul's saying? He said, I know you believe what the prophet said. Then Agrippa said to Paul, almost thou persuaded me to be a Christian. He said, yeah, you almost persuaded me to follow your ass. Sheesh. See how that's working, little flockulators? And Paul said, I would to God that not only you, but also all that hear me this day were both also and altogether such as I am, except these bonds. I wish everybody was like me. See how people will hear that and hear it wrong? Oh, man, you're boasting, man. You're talking some shit, trying to make yourself out to be something. Oh, boy. And when he had thus spoken, the king rose up, and the governor and Bernice and they that sat with them. And when they were gone aside, they talked between themselves, saying, this man doth nothing worthy of death or of bonds. Then said Agrippa unto Festus, this man might have been set at liberty if he had not appealed unto Caesar. Y'all hear that? He said, they ain't did nothing worthy of being in jail or in bonds. You see that today, little flockulators? So were the Jews right in their accusals? Obviously they weren't, but they still did accuse, didn't they? Now, when he said, I chose you, Paul, to send you, and a great light is who did it, right? A great light shone. Like Isaiah 9:2 says, read that real quick. We don't have to read it right now around this video, but when you get a chance, you read it and you'll see that a great light shone to them who sat in darkness. Same thing Paul's doing. You see that there? Now, this great light, how do you obtain it? Well, let's see here, little flockulators. Revelation 2:26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, my work. So do what I do and overcome that serpent illusionist beguiler. If you overcome his illusion, in other words, and keep my works and do what I'm doing, the breathing peacefully and calmly, keeping the word of my patience, relaxing and staying calm and loving. To him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. So then when you think about Christ and you think about the power that was given unto him, he's saying, even as that same power that he was given, he'll give it to you if you overcome and do what he did. So when the storms come your way, if you act the way Christ acted, then he'll give you that light. Continuing. And I will give him, see, the morning star. Stop. Didn't it say that light, Paul said, is shining brighter than the damn sun, man? Sheesh, this shit lit up every damn thing. So then he'll give it to you. Now, once you get it, then you know who you are. See how his name was changed from Saul, who he thought he was, to Paul after the light came on and he could see who that he was. And so now that he could see who that he was, he could see what everything else was. But it had to start with him first knowing who I am and knowing not to blaspheme anymore and taking that name in vain anymore like I had been. See it there, little flockulators. Isn't it easy to see or is it hard? You guys tell me. You guys tell me. See if there's anything else before I end this message. No, I think that's it for now. This message is pretty long. It's over an hour. So that's it for now. So now, all you have to consider is, I am what? Because I am. Now, I told you there's two ways that a parent will love their child. They will either love their child because of works, or they will love their child because their child just is. Now, how can I prove that? Well, did you guys hear about the grandsons of God? Well, let's talk about them. Isaac had two sons. See, Isaac is the son. Abraham is the father. So then we're going to have a branch from the root. Or in other words, the father coming again through the grandson. That's Israel. That's Jacob. You see it? He's the third part of the plant. He's the branch that carries the fruit on him, which are the 12 manner of fruit on his branch. See? You see it? Well, when he's born, he has his brother that's born with him. Now, what is the parents' feelings concerning the brothers? Well, let's see. It said Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And then it don't say because nothing. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to hear. If your ears are the new ears, then you can hears. Then you ain't got no fears. I don't give a damn if we flying way up high up in the leer. Your ass will still be seeing clear. We don't give a damn if all them hating ass niggas start to jeer. Because when I get to heaven, they all gonna cheer. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying to you? One is loved because he is. One is loved because of what he do. And does it happen to be the one that's the hairy, rough, 3D, fleshly man is the one that loves because of what he does? Yep, that's the one going and getting the venison, all right. See how it connect like Legos. But the other man is loved because he exists. The plain man dwelling in his tent. See? So which one are you? One is faith, one is works. Do you believe that if you do really good works with your hands, your father will love you? Or do you believe your father loves you because you exist? What do you believe? I know what I believe. You see it? Because one's true and one's not true. And the Bible told you which one is true and which one isn't. That's why Esau is rejected and Jacob is loved. That's why. The two grandsons give a sacrifice, and he always loves one grandson's sacrifice and hates the other one. Cain and Abel tells you that same story of the grandson. Adam being the father, Adam being the son of God, it is written. So Abel being the father, Adam being the son, Abel being the grandson, and here it comes, the red devil come killing. See? Here come the red devil come killing. Thinking he has a better sacrifice. Just like the Pharisees was doing. Just like the Levitical priesthood does against the Melchizedek priesthood. Here they come killing. Just like we just read. Can you see it today, little flock? So one grandson sacrifice is better than the other. Which one sacrifice do you think I'm giving? The sacrifice of praise or the sacrifice of vanity? Silawam Israel.